What's going on, guys? It's Justin here with Summit Racing, and make no mistake, cars, trucks, and SUVs, regardless of how old they are, need regular maintenance to ensure all their systems operate properly when you need them to. And while we could easily make a 3-hour-long video with over 100 things to check, we wanted to start basic, giving you some easy yet vital important things to regularly perform and inspect that could help you avoid some potential serious vehicle problems in the future. And most of these maintenance routines are things you can do without a whole lot of experience. While the solution may take some mechanical skills, knowing how to spot the issues is a pretty easy thing to learn. So let's get into our list of top 5 basic automotive maintenance habits that you should regularly get into. Everything on your vehicle from the engine to the brakes takes a backseat to tire condition. So that's where we're going to start our list. You're going to want to look at your tires about once a month. That's a good frame of inspection. So what you're going to want to look for is abnormalities in the tire, like dry rotting, cracking, any funny stuff embedded in the tread. And after that, you're going to want to look at your tread depth. And we like to do the penny test, and we'll show you guys how to do that. So to do the penny test, what you're going to want to do is grab a penny, flip it over where Abe's upside down, and then put it next to your tread in the center. If you can see all of Abe's head, it's time to replace the tires. Obviously, we can't see any of Abe's head on our tire, so these are good to go. After you've done the penny test and your tread on your tire is good, you're going to want to look at your tread wear pattern. And you can figure out a lot from tread wear just by looking at the top of your tire. You can see here to here is our contact patch going down the road. But you can tell a lot by this if the tire is overinflated, underinflated, if you have wore out suspension components, just by how this wears here. So this is like a little storybook for the condition of your tires. Next, we'll talk about proper inflation of tires. Having an overinflated or underinflated tire can be very dangerous. So you're going to want to grab an air gauge like the one we have here, which also doubles as a tire filler, and check your air pressure regularly. If you're not sure what your air pressure is supposed to be, usually on the inside of your driver's side door jamb, there's a recommended pressure sticker. And if there's not one there, a quick Google search will get you what you need. Next, we're going to talk about wear indicators on tires. Now, our Jeep tire here does not have a wear indicator on it, but we have a tire to show you that does. So let's go take a look at it. So we grabbed this tire here to give you guys a little better indication of what a wear indicator is. If you look at this little triangle here, that's our wear indicator. And if your tread's low enough to where that triangle is touching the road and wearing, it's time to replace your tires. The next thing we're going to look at is our brakes. We went ahead and ripped the wheel off the Jeep to make it a little bit easier. Now, if you have disc brakes, you can do a lot with a visual inspection. If you have drum brakes, there's not really much you can see from the outside, so you'll need to remove the wheel and remove the drum. So with disc brakes, what we're looking for is any discoloration in the rotor, any gouges, kind of funny stuff, excessive brake dust, things that would make you think that this isn't working right. We're also going to want to take a look through here at the back of our caliper, and you can see our pads. And we have a lot of pad left on this thing, so they don't need replaced anytime soon. And while you're looking at this, you're going to want to look at your brake hoses and surrounding stuff to make sure nothing is kinked or this brake hose isn't cracked and leaking, because having no brakes is not ideal. The other things you can look at is like your fluid health. So brake fluid is supposed to be clear. It's actually hygroscopic, meaning that it absorbs moisture. So if you have a squishy pedal or the pedal doesn't feel that great, it may be worth taking a look at your fluid to make sure it's not bad. If your brake fluid is discolored like a yellow or an extremely dark tan color, it's time to cycle that fluid out and put new fluid in. Checking and changing your oil often is very important. Especially with modern vehicles boasting service limits like 10,000 miles, it's still important you check your oil regularly so you make sure there's oil in this thing. You want to check your driveway for spots or any weird leaks, and then you want to see if your exhaust maybe has some smoke in it and that distinctive oil burning smell. Now, if you have a summer cruiser car that you only drive a couple thousand miles a year to car shows and maybe down to the ice cream stand, changing your oil once a year will be good enough for you. But I recommend changing it when you put the car away for hibernation so it has fresh oil all winter and you can get it out in the spring ready to drive. Letting old oil sit in something can be detrimental to seals and other things because it contains contaminants from the combustion process and other items in the engine. Number 4 on our list is checking out your headlights and taillights. If you have a burned out headlight, it can go unnoticed for months, especially if you don't do a lot of driving at night. And if you have a taillight or a brake light that's out, you probably won't be the one to notice, and you don't want a law enforcement officer to be the one to tell you. So it's important every other month to walk around your vehicle, make sure all your lights are good, checking your headlights, your turn signals, and your marker lights. So we're gonna head to the back of our Jeep and make sure our taillights are functioning. So now that we're at the back of the Jeep, we can go ahead and look at both our taillights, make sure those are working, and our license plate light as well. To check your brake lights by yourself is a little more difficult, so you're going to want to grab a friend, have them hit the pedal a couple times, and make sure all the brake lights are working. You're also going to want to do a general inspection of your lenses, front and back, to make sure there's no moisture, cracking, anything out of the ordinary, because moisture is the enemy of electrical systems. The last thing to check is your hazards. Your hazards are tied into your turn signals, so if you hit your hazard button and all 4 of your hazards flash, that means your turn signals are good to go. So let's check ours. And just like that, our hazards are working, so our Jeep's good to go. It's important with lights that you can see and be seen. The 5th and final thing on our list is checking your belts and hoses, because you don't want to get left on the side of the road by a broken serpentine belt or a ruptured radiator hose. When it comes to serpentine belts, what you're going to look for is dry rotting, cracking, separation of the belt. If the belt's losing ribs, like this one I have here in my hand, it could signify you got some issues going on. When it comes to radiator hoses, you're going to want to look for leaks first, and then look around the inlets and outlets of the radiator and engine block to make sure there's no white chalky substance, which could signify a leak. You're also going to give the hoses a little tug and also a little squeeze too to make sure it's still good pliable rubber, because a hard radiator hose is much more susceptible to failure. And there you have it. 5 things you can do to ensure your vehicle is up to snuff before you hit the road. And most of these things are easy and don't take longer than a minute or 2, so there's no reason why you can't introduce them into your schedule until it becomes an ingrained habit. Again, we could have talked on vehicle maintenance for a few more hours, just ask our significant others, but we wanted to keep it basic and simple here. Be on the lookout though, because we're going into greater detail on topics like this in the future. So it's a good idea to subscribe to that Summit Racing YouTube channel to ensure you don't miss a thing. I'm Justin with Summit Racing. Thanks for watching.